You have to go over there near the gates. It's private property.
Past there, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that for all of these sites?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
so who are you? Sorry, you haven't even got a badge on.
Security.
You're security, okay.
Yeah, so, and you haven't got any pass to go on this site either, love. So it's private property. If you want to go over near the gate, please.
Just over by the gate, alright.
Yes, thank you.
Just before I go over, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around.
No, you're not.
Get some videos.
No, you're not. It's private property. Which part you don't understand?
No, I mean past that way. Past.
You're not allowed to. You've got to ask permission for it. It's still private property.
I'll be on public land though, filming private property. Is that okay? Yeah.
Why are you recording?
That's because I've just said I've come down here to do a bit of a.
You want to go to the gate first before we carry on?
Yeah, okay then. Yeah. What we up to? You're getting the boundary, your gate and stuff, and then I'll explain to you what.
As the auditor approaches, a security guard suddenly moves in, ordering him to leave and claiming the space is private property. But there's something noticeably off. She isn't showing her SIA license badge. In the UK, every licensed security officer must keep it visible while on duty, a rule designed to promote transparency and public trust. Instead of reacting aggressively, the auditor stays composed and steps just beyond the property line, continuing to engage. The exchange quietly highlights an uncomfortable truth. Rules are often enforced on the public with zero tolerance, yet sometimes ignored by the very people meant to uphold them.
To delete this?
Yes, because it's private property, you didn't ask permission for us to do it. So can you please delete it?
I'd rather not. I'm not going to delete it.
It's your choice. You either do it or we'll phone the police. Your choice.
Well, listen, I'll just tell you what I'm doing and then you can decide whether or not you want to call.
You've come on a site which is private property. Now I've asked, because you've not asked permission of the property people to record. You've come onto the site and recorded without any permission. Now you've got a choice to either record and delete that or contact the police.
Can I just explain to you then, before you contact the police, what's going on, yeah? What I'm doing is I'm just going to have a little walk around the perimeter and film the private land from public.
Well, you haven't done, have you? You've just come on here, onto private property and recorded it.
Yeah,
so I'd like you to delete it, please.
Yeah, but that's because you've asked me to leave, so I'm leaving now, yeah?
No. Would you walk onto anybody's site? Did you think it was private property? It's not. There's a reason why these gates are here and the barrier's here. So please, can you delete that footage? The beginning of you walking onto the site, can you please delete it? If you don't, I will contact the police.
Her push to enforce a rule that doesn't even exist makes it clear she has little grasp of UK photography laws. In Britain, the law is straightforward. You don't need permission to take photos or record video from a public space. Even in certain accessible areas of private property, you're still within your rights unless specific bylaws or legal orders say otherwise. And here's the key point. Only a court order can legally require someone to delete their footage. That power doesn't belong to a security guard, a business owner, or even the police without due legal process. As for GDPR, it applies to companies and organizations handling personal data, not to private individuals filming for personal use or journalism. So when she threatens to involve the police, it's less about legal grounds and more about intimidation. The reality is, security staff have no lawful say over how someone uses footage they've obtained legally. Her insistence on deletion doesn't just cross the line, it shines a spotlight on poor training and a shaky understanding of the very rules she's meant to uphold.
Why is the barrier there then? Why is the barrier there? Is it there just to be like, just for show? No.
It's for vehicles.
Right, no it's not. It's for people like you and that's why the gates are here. If you were coming onto this site, you'd walk through these gates. You haven't. For one, you've not asked permission to record anybody on this site, including me. So, I advise you to delete it off before I get the police involved. You've not written to this company to ask them to do recording.
Do I have to write? Why would I have to write?
You just walked onto this site thinking you've got rights to do. You have not.
Can I just say, don't get the police involved because there's no crime being committed.
There is. It's trespassing. No. You've come onto this property as trespassing, which is a civil suit at the end of the day, but you are recording against the company's policy.
Yeah, it's civil, that's what I mean, so you wouldn't ring the police, would you?
You are recording against a company's policy.
Yeah.
For one, you have to ask if you can come on this site and if you can go onto that side, which is...
The security guard insists the auditor is breaking company rules by filming on what she calls private property. But here's the problem. Company policy is not the same as law. A business can create its own internal rules, sure, but those rules only have power over employees or visitors who've agreed to follow them. The general public isn't automatically bound by such policies unless there's a clear, voluntary agreement in place, which, in this case, there isn't. Her own words actually weaken her position. She openly admits that trespassing is a civil matter. That's an important distinction, because police involvement in civil disputes is extremely limited. Unless a criminal offence, such as aggravated trespass, takes place, there's nothing for law enforcement to enforce. And here, nothing of that sort has happened. What's left is an attempt to use company rules as if they carry the weight of the law. It's a common tactic: repeat the policy often enough and hope the other person backs down. But in legal reality, policy isn't power, and without actual legislation behind it, her stance is little more than bluster.
Right? But you need to go and find out what your legal rights is. At the end of the day,
I know.
You don't.
I do know.
You don't. A lot of people think they do. They don't. Right? I've been doing this for years. I know the legal sides. Okay? So one, it's private property.
Yeah.
This is council property. That's council property. Come over to this gate. You come over that gate. It is private property. That's the reason why I am here.
Okay.
Now, I've advised you, and I've said it 3 times now. You either delete that footage that you recorded when you're coming on this site, or we will have to inform the police. What have you done?
Please don't ring the police, because there's been no crime committed. Trespass is civil, isn't it? The police don't get involved.
Matter. It's still private property. Whether it's civil or whether it's public or whatever way, it is still trespassing. Yeah. You have not got the permission on the company to come on this site.
By the time the guard decided to pull the "I'll call the police" card, the auditor had already complied. He was off the property, exactly as instructed. At that point, there was zero legal reason for officers to get involved. If they did show up, they'd be left with 2 choices: educate the guard on the fact that no offence had been committed, or try to pressure the auditor into doing something they had no lawful authority to demand. And this is where it gets frustrating. Every unnecessary call like this eats up police time, pulling officers away from genuine emergencies, domestic disputes, assaults, thefts, that actually require their attention. Instead, they'd be stuck in the middle of a misunderstanding born out of poor training and misplaced authority. The reality is, police aren't private security enforcers, and company policy isn't the same as law. This incident is a textbook example of how ignorance can escalate a non-issue into a complete waste of public resources. All because one person couldn't tell the difference between legal authority and personal preference. So here's the real question: should police even respond to calls like this, or should they start charging for wasting their time?
Even I've left, haven't I? So
there's
no.
I'd like you to delete that, please. Because we've not given you permission to record me, record this site, and record this wagon coming on site.
Okay, but what you're saying, just let me speak then. So what you're saying is I have to delete this. So you are saying you know the
delete the area if you're coming up here. From there onwards, you can do whatever you want.
Okay, you know the law.
You are on a public footpath, like you've said to me. You are on a public footpath, and you're taking photos, but still has to ask permission to come on site. You walked on site, which is trespassing. You can ask any police officer you like. I used to work with the police, so your choice.
What did you used to do part of the police?
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you.
That's really interesting.
It's your choice to delete you walking into the site.
Have you got a license for your drone?
What kind of license do you need for a drone?
You need a license to come over to a private company. You've got to have our permission to fly a drone over our company.
You're saying I'm not going to fly the drone?
Yeah.
You're wrong then. You're wrong. Because I'm definitely going to fly that drone.
No, you're not. If I get the police, I will bring the police.
Another misinformed security guard steps in, this time questioning the auditor's right to fly his drone. The guard confidently, but wrongly, claims that the auditor needs a license to fly over private property, even threatening to call the police. The problem? That's not how UK drone law works. Under the Civil Aviation Authority (CAA) regulations, drone pilots do not need permission from a landowner to fly over private property, provided they aren't taking off or landing on it without consent. As long as the drone is in unrestricted airspace and the pilot follows CAA guidelines, the guard's claim has zero legal weight. The "I'll call the police" line here isn't about enforcing the law, it's an intimidation tactic. And just like before, the police have no authority to uphold imaginary rules. When officers finally show up as the auditor returns for his night shots, they don't focus on actual legislation. Instead, the conversation shifts toward the security guard's feelings, as if emotions can override the law. The takeaway? This isn't law enforcement, it's feelings enforcement.
What's your name, darling?
I'd rather not give my name.
I mean, it's just politeness, because I'm PC Hayes and this is my colleague, PC Greenhouse, so...
PC Hayes, PC Greenhouse, yeah.
So what's your name?
I'd rather not give any names, if you know what I mean. I'm just out flying my drone, that's all.
We're asking you your name because we need to ascertain details, because then I can say I've spoken to you, you've told me exactly what's happening, and then I can close the log. But at the minute, I don't know who you are.
Yeah. You don't need to know who I am. Are you recording, by the way?
It's always
Ah, right. You're supposed to tell me before.
No, we don't have to say it. It's always on for
Look it up in your policy, love. Look it up in your policy. I'm recording. I don't need to tell you I ain't got a policy. You've got a policy because you're a data handler. You handle GDPR. I can request a copy of that. Yeah. So, but I would request a copy if I didn't know you were recording. It's because
Many officers claim they don't have to inform people when their body-worn cameras are recording. But that's simply not true. The College of Policing's guidance on BWV, body-worn video, clearly states that officers must inform individuals at the earliest opportunity that they are being recorded, unless doing so would compromise safety or an active investigation. When officers repeatedly ignore this rule, it exposes a glaring gap in training. If they were properly educated on their own responsibilities, there'd be no excuse for these ongoing violations. Yet time and again, the policy is brushed aside, reinforcing a dangerous perception that police accountability isn't a duty, it's a choice.
So yeah, I'm just flying my drone. I'm out flying my drone. You don't need to know who I am. You don't need to know what I'm doing. You just need to know I'm flying a drone. That's all.
I know, but obviously there's a business there. So you flying a drone is obviously making that business feel uncomfortable, isn't it? Because he doesn't know who you are or why you're doing that. You could be a security risk to that business. He doesn't know you, does he?
Well, yeah, you've come and spoke to me now anyway. So yeah, I'm just. If you just let him know, I'm here flying a drone, and that's it really.
Right. Well, can you move on somewhere else away from the business?
I won't be moving on anywhere else. This is public land. Don't ask me to move on. That's ridiculous.
At the end of the day, you're making him feel.
I don't know who you think you are, though, turning up like this and just telling me to move on. Don't tell me to move on.
This is a textbook case of poor policing. Instead of upholding the law impartially, the officer tries to remove the auditor simply because his presence makes others uncomfortable. This isn't about maintaining public order or preventing crime, it's about acting on vague complaints instead of defending rights. By asking the auditor to leave, the officer treats a law-abiding citizen as the problem, when in fact the auditor has every right to be there. Policing should be grounded in facts and legal authority, not personal feelings or convenience. When officers start telling people to leave public spaces just because someone disapproves of their actions, it creates a dangerous precedent. One where lawful activities can be shut down at any moment without just cause.
I mean, I'm not doing it aggressively.
I'm not having a go. I'm just saying, don't tell me to move on.
I'm not doing it aggressively. I'm asking you politely that you're making him feel insecure because he's not aware of who you are. You're not even telling me who you are.
I'm not going to tell you who I am because I don't need to. There's no law.
We don't know who you are. That is a business. He's there for security purposes, and you're outside flying a drone.
Can I just remind you both that you're here to uphold the law? You've got to go by laws, yeah? You can't.
Absolutely. And I'm not breaking any law.
The auditor rightly reminds the officer that her job is to uphold the law and follow legal guidelines. Instead of acknowledging this, she deflects with, "I'm not breaking any laws." That completely misses the point. The issue isn't whether she's personally breaking the law, it's that she's failing to enforce it properly. Her duty is to protect legal rights, yet she's more concerned with appeasing the security guard than ensuring the auditor is treated fairly and lawfully. This moment perfectly captures a growing problem in policing, officers prioritizing the satisfaction of a complainant over applying the law as it's actually written.
I'll reset relations a little bit. Just don't ask me to move on. It winds me up, does that? Because I'm studying public land now, just doing a legal activity.
That, but if you just go a little bit further down there, away from the business entrance, you're not going to make him feel uncomfortable, are you? You can appreciate though that without their permission it can make them feel a little bit uncomfortable because they don't know why you're here, do they?
Well, the thing is...
If you get permission to do that, then I'm sure they'll be more than happy.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, the thing is, one, I don't need to, but two, sometimes I do. But the thing is, what happens is that guy first came out there, he came out, and instead of just coming up to me and talking to me and saying, "Hiya, what are you doing? How are you flying a drone?" and all that kind of stuff, he ran up to me with a strobe light flashing at me, saying, "I've called the police on you," and that's that. And then he ran back in his hut, turned all lights out. So at that point, I'm thinking, well, what do I do? Do I go down and say to him, "Don't worry, mate, it's just a drone"? You know what I mean?
Because potentially he's quite scared because he doesn't know who you are or what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? So he's in fear, and you can understand that, can't you?
This incident exposes a serious breakdown in communication within the security team. If the day shift was already aware of the auditor's presence, why wasn't this passed on to the night shift? A simple handover could have prevented the entire escalation. Instead, the night guard, left in the dark, reacted out of fear and confusion, wasting police time over a non-issue. Rather than taking a calm, professional approach, impulsive actions only made the situation worse. This highlights a glaring gap in security training, understanding how to handle lawful public filming without dragging in the police unnecessarily. A quick, informed briefing could have avoided yet another pointless police call-out.
You can't cause fear. You can't cause fear by turning up on a public land and flying a drone.
Anybody can cause anybody fear, can't they? At the end of the day, you
I know, but from a legal standpoint, I'm
we
saying.
all have our own emotions and our own feelings, and
Yeah,
everybody can make anybody feel unfair, and that's clearly what you did. Yeah,
Well,
you made him
from a
feel
legal
unfair.
standpoint, I haven't created fear or anything like that. From a legal
For
standpoint,
him, yeah.
A lot of people phone the police when you fly a drone over the premises, but it's because they don't know the law.
They don't know you. They don't know that you've got a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And they don't know what your interests are. You've just told us you're interested in buildings, you're doing nighttime shots, and now you've just told my colleague you've got a YouTube channel. But they don't know that. And this is, I'm not saying it's the same person.
Yeah, he never asked. Yeah, but
Within the last 4 days, we've had 2 calls about people flying drones here. So just because it's so close together, it's gonna spike a little bit of concern.
If somebody's going to break into that and potentially cause damage, it's going to make a massive effect on the whole area, isn't it? So they have to be very aware. So if they don't know you're coming, they don't know what you're here for, do they? So it's going to make them feel a bit sort of worried, especially when it's a chemical place.
I don't want to do something wrong by you and act on something or say something or do something when I don't know it's right.
Well, the thing is, what I try to do is I try to avoid detaining arrests, so I can let you know if you needed to know anything. But I will let you know today's flight has been 100% lawful.
Right.
That's fine. We just asked for your name, just so we knew who you
At the end of the
were.
day, I appreciate that, but just as a person, it made him feel a bit sort of frightened for him to phone us. So just be aware of other people, do you know what I mean? Again, you're not doing anything illegal. You can't control somebody's feelings. And at the end of the day, if he's there for a security purpose, it's going to make him feel frightened because you don't know who you are. Yeah? Maybe before you do it, go and speak to him and explain to him why you do it.
If anyone should have explained the situation in advance, it was the business and security staff, not the auditor. It was their responsibility to brief the night guard that the filming had already occurred, so he wouldn't react out of fear if it happened again. Instead, they failed to pass on crucial information, leaving him panicked and uninformed, which resulted in a pointless police call. The officer's reasoning was equally flawed. The burden should never fall on the auditor to reassure security when he's doing nothing wrong. Rather than holding the security team accountable for their poor communication, she shifted the blame onto the auditor, once again proving she was more interested in policing emotions than upholding the law.
And then he will say, yeah, that's fine, I'm aware of it, that's okay, I'm not threatened by it, that's alright, but at the end of the day, he doesn't know what's going on. Yeah?
But yeah, just have a quick word with him, put his mind at rest, and then, hopefully he'll be a bit happier, won't he?
Yeah, potentially.
We won't speak to him though, because obviously,
Go on then, let's go speak to him.
it may well be that we'll go on our own. It's fine. Just to not cause any issues, but we'll go and speak to him and we can put his mind at ease that we've had a conversation with you.
Okay then.
Okay?
Go on
Leave
then.
you to enjoy the rest of your night, sir.
Excellent, thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
As the officers reassure the security guard, this moment perfectly illustrates how both the business and the police failed. Instead of enforcing the law, the officers chose to comfort the guard, placing his emotions above the facts. This entire situation could have been avoided with basic communication. The night guard was never briefed about the auditor's earlier visit, so he reacted out of fear. Had the business done its job and passed along that information, there would have been no escalation. Rather than upholding the law, the police validated the guard's unfounded fears, once again showing a preference for managing feelings over protecting legal rights. This approach only fuels unnecessary confrontations that could easily be prevented. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support my independent coverage.